People talk about the law of attraction like it's some kind of magic. Like if you just sit in your chair and wish hard enough, suddenly the car, the house, the career, the dream body, it will just appear. Let me tell you something, that is not how it works. The law of attraction is not about sitting and wishing. It's about thinking big and then moving like a machine to make those thoughts a reality. When I was a young boy in Austria, I had posters on my wall of bodybuilders, movie stars, champions. I didn't just look at those pictures and say, one day maybe. I looked at them and said, this will be me. I will walk into that world. I will build it with my own hands. And every single day I trained, I studied, I worked until the vision that was once only in my mind became the life in front of my eyes. The law of attraction is not wishful thinking. It's a contract between your mind and your action. You attract what you are willing to work for, what you are obsessed with, what you refuse to quit on. People will doubt you, laugh at you, tell you to be realistic. But the law of attraction is about refusing to live someone else's version of reality. It's about creating your own. You hold the picture in your mind, you see it like it's already yours, and then you go after it with everything you've got. Don't wait for the perfect time, don't wait for permission. Your thoughts are the blueprint, your actions are the hammer and nails, and your life is the building. The law of attraction says if you can see it, you can hold it, but only if you're willing to fight for it, sweat for it, and never let go. So ask yourself right now, what do you want? Not what others want for you, not what is safe, what do you want? Hold it in your mind, see it, believe it, and then step into the arena of life and build it. Vision is everything. If you cannot see your future clearly in your mind, if you don't have that picture burned into your imagination, then you are walking blind through life. Every champion, every leader, every person who achieved something extraordinary first created it in their head before it ever existed in reality. Think about it, the skyscraper you walk past every morning, the car you drive, the phone you hold in your hand. Every single one of those things started as nothing more than an idea, a vision in someone's mind. Without that vision, it would have never existed. When I was young, I used to walk around my small town in Austria and see nothing but the same ordinary routine. People waking up, working, eating, sleeping, repeating, and deep inside me, I knew I wanted something different. I had a vision of myself standing on stage as a champion bodybuilder. I had a vision of myself in Hollywood movies. I had a vision of creating a life far beyond the limits of my surroundings. People laughed when I told them. They said, be realistic. Arnold, that is impossible. But I held on to that vision so strongly, so clearly that nothing could shake it. That is what vision does. It becomes your North Star. It becomes the magnet that pulls you forward even when everything else is pushing you back. Without vision, the obstacles defeat you. With vision, the obstacles become part of the journey. Imagine you are driving at night with no headlights. You cannot move fast, you cannot be confident. You are terrified of the unknown. But when the headlights are on, suddenly the road is clear and you move forward with power. Vision is those headlights for your life. Take a moment and ask yourself, what do you see when you close your eyes? Do you see yourself living the same routine year after year? Or do you see yourself breaking free, building something that excites you, something that makes your heart beat faster? Your vision has to be big enough to scare you, but also strong enough to drive you. Let me give you a simple example. Think of someone who wants to lose weight. If their only vision is, I don't want to be overweight, they will fail because that is a negative picture. It is weak. But if their vision is, I see myself strong, fit, healthy, running with energy, wearing the clothes I dream of, that positive picture becomes fuel. Every time they feel tired, every time they want to quit, that vision reminds them why they started. Vision is not fantasy. Vision is the seed of reality. You plant it in your mind, you water it with belief, and you protect it with discipline. People will try to step on it, they will tell you it's impossible. But if you hold that vision close, if you nurture it daily, one day the world will see what you always saw, and when they see it, they will call it success. But you will know it was vision all along. Don't just think, act. Too many people get trapped in the cycle of overthinking, planning, imagining, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for the right resources. They believe if they just think positively enough, Somehow life will deliver everything they want into their hands. But life doesn't reward the dreamers who only sit and think. It rewards the doers who turn their thoughts into action. Thoughts are the blueprint, but action is the construction. Imagine you have a dream to start a business. You think about it every day. You imagine yourself successful. You talk about it with your friends. You even tell yourself, one day I'll do it. But weeks pass, months pass, and nothing changes. Why? Because the idea is still trapped in your head. Until you take the first step, until you take action, that dream will never breathe. It will never have life. People often say, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right skills, I don't know enough yet. Let me tell you, no one starts with everything. When I started bodybuilding, I didn't have the perfect gym. I didn't have the best equipment. I didn't even have access to all the knowledge I needed. But I had a vision and I had the discipline to act. Every single day I lifted, I trained, I experimented, I failed. And I learned if I had waited for the perfect moment, I would still be waiting today. Action is what separates the people who dream from the people who achieve. A student who dreams of top grades but never studies, never practices, never puts in the work will fail. But a student who acts, who sits down every day with focus, who turns off distractions and puts in hours of learning, will rise to the top. The difference isn't intelligence, it's action. Think about someone who says they want to get fit. They buy books about fitness, they watch videos, they follow fitness influencers on social media, they think about the body they want every day. But when it's time to go to the gym, they stay on the couch. When it's time to choose food, they pick junk over nutrition. Their thoughts are strong, but their actions are weak. And weak actions never build strong results. Action doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. You might fail, you might make mistakes, you might embarrass yourself. But even those failures are worth more than standing still. Because every time you act, you learn. Every time you act, you move forward. Every time you act, you are closer to the life you want. The law of attraction is not only about thinking, it is about becoming. And you become through action. The world doesn't give opportunities to people who wait. It gives them to people who show up, who move, who prove they are ready. If you want success, don't just sit there and think about it. Get up, make the call, do the work, take the risk, because thoughts alone don't bring success. Action does, obsession wins. People like to talk about balance, about doing things in moderation, about living a comfortable life. But the truth is, comfort never creates greatness. Obsession does. When you want something so badly that it takes over your thoughts, your energy, your decisions, your daily routine, that is when you begin to attract it into your life. Obsession is not about wishing, it is about living with one focus that pushes away every excuse, every distraction, every temptation that tries to slow you down. Think about a musician who wants to master his instrument. If he only plays when he feels like it, if he only practices once in a while, he will stay average forever. But if he becomes obsessed, if he wakes up thinking about music, spends hours practicing, studies every detail, every sound, every mistake, and keeps going even when his hands hurt, then he becomes a master. People will look at him years later and call him talented. But what they don't see is the obsession that fueled his journey. When I was a young man, I wasn't just interested in bodybuilding, I was obsessed with it. I lived it, breathed it, studied it every single day. I would train for hours while others were sleeping. I would visualize every muscle, every pose, every competition. People thought I was crazy. They told me to slow down, to enjoy life, to stop being so extreme. But I knew obsession was my edge. While others were half committed, I was all in. And obsession has power. Because when you give everything to one vision, the universe begins to respond. Look at any athlete at the top of their game, any entrepreneur who built an empire, any artist whose work inspires millions. Behind their success, you will always find obsession. It is the hunger that doesn't let them quit when they are tired. It is the fire that makes them practice when no one is watching. It is the voice in their head that says, again, 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 when everyone else says, that's enough. Let's take a daily life example. Imagine two students preparing for the same exam. One studies for an hour, then gets distracted by social media, then decides to relax because they deserve a break. The other is obsessed. They plan their day around studying. They cut out distractions. They review their notes at night. They test themselves over and over. When exam day comes, the obsessed student walks in ready, confident, prepared. And when the results are out, people call them lucky or smart. But it wasn't luck, it was obsession. Obsession sharpens focus. It makes you see opportunities where others see problems. It makes you keep pushing when others stop. It makes you sacrifice comfort today for greatness tomorrow. Yes, obsession demands a price. Late nights, early mornings, rejection. Sacrifice, but the reward is a life most people can only dream of. If you want to rise above average, if you want to attract success that seems impossible, you cannot just want it. You must be obsessed with it. Because in the end, obsession wins. Ignore the naysayers. There will always be people who tell you that you can't do it, that your dream is too big, that your goals are impossible. The moment you decide to chase something extraordinary, the voices of doubt will rise around you. Some will laugh at you, some will criticize you, some will try to give you advice that sounds practical, but is designed to shrink your vision. You must understand their words are a reflection of their limits, not yours. If you listen to them, you inherit their small mindset, their fears, their excuses. If you ignore them, you give yourself the freedom to write your own story. When I told people I wanted to be the best bodybuilder in the world, they told me I was crazy. When I said I would move to America and become a movie star, they laughed even harder. You have an accent, you look too big, you will never fit in Hollywood, they said. But every time they told me, you can't, I told myself, watch me. And that attitude is what you need. When the world doubts you, let it be the fuel that pushes you harder. Think about your own life. Maybe you want to start a business and your family says, don't risk it, it's too hard. Just stick to a safe job. Maybe you want to lose weight and your friends say, don't bother, you've tried before. It won't work. Maybe you want to chase a dream career and people say, be realistic, people like you don't make it that far. These voices are everywhere. But here's the truth, the naysayers don't pay your bills. They don't live your life. They don't wake up in your body every morning. So why should they decide how far you go? Imagine a child learning to walk. Every time they fall, imagine if people said, see, walking is not for you, better stay on the floor. Ridiculous, right? But that's exactly what happens when you let naysayers dictate your life. Failure, rejection, mistakes, they are part of growth. Ignoring the noise allows you to keep moving forward until you master it. Here's another daily life example. A young athlete dreams of making it to the national team. His classmates tease him, telling him he's wasting his time, that he will never make it out of the small town. But he trains every morning, every night, pushing himself when no one is watching. Years later, he's standing on the big stage wearing his country's jersey. And suddenly, the same people who doubted him are cheering for him. That is the power of ignoring the naysayers. You have to understand, most people settle for average, so when they see someone chasing greatness, it makes them uncomfortable. They want you to stay where they are, so they don't feel left behind. But you cannot let their comfort zone become your prison. Block out the noise, focus on your vision, and keep moving. Because the moment you stop listening to the naysayers, you start hearing the only voice that matters, your own belief in yourself. Consistency builds reality. Most people fail not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they don't stay consistent long enough to see results. Success is never about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. The little steps repeated again and again create the giant leap that people later call success. Think about going to the gym. If you train once, you won't see any change. If you train for a week, maybe still nothing visible. And that's where most people quit, because they want instant results. But the person who shows up day after day, even when they're tired, even when they don't feel like it, even when no one is watching, that person is the one who transforms. Their body changes, their strength grows, their confidence rises, not because of one massive effort, but because of consistent effort. When I started bodybuilding, I didn't miss training days. Even when I was exhausted, even when I had no time, I made time. I knew that every single workout was a brick in the building of my dream. One workout by itself might not matter, but hundreds of them stacked together built a champion. That is what consistency does. It multiplies your small actions until they become something powerful. Look at a student preparing for exams. The one who studies the night before, cramming everything in, might survive, but the one who studies consistently every day, building knowledge piece by piece, becomes the top of the class. Consistency takes the pressure off because instead of chasing last-minute miracles, you're building steady progress. There's a story of a man who wanted to learn to play the guitar. He practiced 1 hour every day for 3 months. His friend, on the other hand, practiced 6 hours straight one day and then stopped for weeks. At the end of 3 months, the first man could play songs smoothly, while the second man was still struggling. The difference wasn't talent, it was consistency. Daily life proves this again and again. Saving money, for example. If you put aside a small amount every day, it grows into something huge over years. But if you spend recklessly and only save when you feel like it, you end up with nothing. Relationships work the same way. One big gesture once a year cannot replace the consistency of showing up, caring, listening, and giving attention every day. Consistency is the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, your dreams stay in your mind. With it, they materialize in the world. Anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can push hard for a week. But the ones who win are those who keep going for months, years, decades. It's not about how loud you start, it's about how long you keep walking. Consistency builds discipline, discipline builds results, and results build the reality you once only imagined. Attract by becoming. People think the law of attraction is only about asking the universe for what you want, sitting back and waiting for it to arrive like a delivery package. But the truth is, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you want success, you have to become the kind of person who deserves success. If you want respect, you have to carry yourself in a way that earns respect. If you want wealth, you have to think, act, and move like someone who builds wealth. Imagine a person who says, I want to be fit, I want to be healthy. But every day they eat junk food, skip workouts, and make excuses. Their actions are not aligned with their desire. They are wishing for one life while living another. Now imagine someone who decides to become that healthy person. They start waking up early, cooking clean meals, moving their body daily, and surrounding themselves with people who inspire fitness. Little by little, they are not just wishing to be fit, they are becoming fit. The attraction happens naturally because their life, their choices, their identity match the goal. When I dreamed of becoming the best bodybuilder in the world, I didn't just sit around telling myself, I want this title. I became it before the world even knew my name. I trained like a champion when no one was watching. I ate like a champion. I studied like a champion. I thought, breathed, and lived as if I was already Mr. Olympia. So when the moment came, the world didn't give me that title. I had already grown into it. Think about a student who wants to be top of the class. If they just say it but don't change their habits, nothing happens. But if they become the kind of student who organizes their time, studies daily, asks questions, and keeps pushing when others relax, they naturally attract good grades and opportunities. It's not luck, it's alignment. The same happens with careers. Someone might say, I want to be successful in business. But if they waste hours on distractions, never learn new skills, and fear taking risks, the opportunity will pass them by. Now picture someone who becomes success-driven. They wake up early, they study the market, they learn from failures, they put in extra hours, their energy shifts, and suddenly they are in the right conversations, meeting the right people, creating the right results. In daily life, you can see this principle everywhere. If you want love, you don't just wait for someone perfect to arrive. You become loving, kind, supportive, and confident. Then naturally, love is drawn to you. If you want financial freedom, you don't just hope for it. You become disciplined with money, smart with investments, and hungry to learn. Freedom then flows towards you because you've grown into the type of person who can handle it. The law of attraction is never about pretending. It is about transforming. Your vision pulls you forward, but your actions and your identity decide whether you deserve to hold it. You cannot attract greatness while living small. You cannot attract discipline while living with excuses. You cannot attract abundance while living in scarcity. The fastest way to bring the life you want closer is to start living as the person who already has it. Once you become, you attract, live like it's already yours. This is one of the most powerful principles of the law of attraction because it shifts you from wishing into embodying. Most people look at their dream as something far away, something that might happen one day if everything goes right. But the truth is, if you carry yourself like your dream is already real, if you speak, walk, think, and act as if you already own it, the world begins to rearrange itself to match your energy. Think of a person who wants confidence. If they keep telling themselves, I will be confident once I achieve success, once I look better, once people respect me, they will always be waiting. But if they begin today to stand tall, to speak with strength, to carry themselves with pride, even before they feel ready, slowly that confidence becomes real. Their body language changes, people respond differently, and soon what began as a mindset turns into reality. When I wanted to become a champion, I didn't wait for the trophy to act like one. I trained like a champion. I ate like a champion. I studied like a champion. I walked into every gym, every competition, every room with the mentality that I was already there. People might not have seen it yet, but I lived it daily, and because I lived it, it became inevitable. Imagine two people starting businesses. The first says, I hope one day my business will grow big, then I will act serious. The second says, this business is already successful in my mind, so I will treat it that way now. They invest time, they show professionalism, they talk with conviction. Which one do you think attracts investors, customers, and opportunities? The one who lives like it's already theirs. The universe responds not to hesitation, but to certainty. Take a simple daily example. Picture someone who dreams of becoming fit. If they say, I will feel strong and energetic once I reach my goal weight, they are postponing the feeling. But if they say, I already am the kind of person who values health, and they act accordingly, choosing good food, exercising, sleeping on time, then fitness is no longer just a goal. It's an identity they are living as if it's already real, and that energy pulls them closer to the result faster than endless wishing ever could. This principle applies everywhere. If you want wealth, stop acting broke in your mind. Manage the little you have with the discipline of a wealthy person. If you want respect, stop waiting for others to validate you. Respect yourself first, speak with dignity, carry yourself with pride. If you want freedom, stop living with chains of fear and hesitation. Move with the boldness of someone who already broke free. Living like it's already yours is not about pretending. It's about aligning. It's about stepping into the shoes of your future self right now, wearing that mindset, carrying that energy, making decisions as if the dream is already in your hands. Because once you live it, once you breathe it, once you embody it, reality has no choice but to catch up to the vision you are holding so tightly in your mind. Every dream that has ever been achieved, every mountain that has ever been climbed, every record that has ever been broken, it all started in the same place, with a decision. A decision to believe when no one else believed. A decision to act when it was easier to quit. A decision to hold on when the world said let go. And the truth is, you are only one decision away from a completely different life. The law of attraction is not just about thinking, it's about becoming. It's about waking up every single day and saying, I refuse to live small. I refuse to accept average. I refuse to die with my dreams still trapped inside me. It's about creating a fire so powerful inside you that no excuse, no setback, no rejection can put it out. People will always doubt. They will tell you you are too young, you are too old, you don't have the resources, you don't have the talent, you don't belong. But let me tell you something. Greatness never belonged to the doubters. Greatness always belonged to the believers. History is written by the ones who said, I don't care how many people laugh. I don't care how many people tell me no. I don't care how impossible it looks. I will keep going until what I see in my mind is standing in front of me. You have to live with an unstoppable mindset. You have to tell yourself, I will not stop when I'm tired. I will stop when I'm done. You have to say, if I fall 7 times, I will rise 8. You have to live with the belief that impossible is nothing, because the word impossible is just a challenge waiting to be conquered. The law of attraction works when you move like your dream is already real. Walk into every room with the confidence of someone who already made it. Work every day with the discipline of someone who already achieved it. Believe with the fire of someone who already owns it, because when you live it, breathe it, and become it, Life has no choice but to hand it to you. Think about this. The world does not reward the person who almost tried. The world rewards the one who finished. The world does not clap for the person who gave up. It claps for the one who stood up again and again until the goal was achieved. The ones who win are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who stayed consistent when it was hard. So right now you have two choices. You can walk away from this moment and go back to your ordinary life, repeating the same excuses, living the same routine, waiting for a miracle that will never come. Or you can make the decision to live differently, to think differently, to act differently, to step into the highest version of yourself and never look back. Remember this: pain is temporary, but pride lasts forever. Losers quit when they fail. Winners fail until they succeed. Dreams don't work unless you do. And every single second that you waste doubting yourself, someone else is out there turning your dream into their reality. So stop waiting, stop wishing, stop holding back. Live like it's already yours, act like it's already done. Fight like your life depends on it, because it does. And when you finally stand at the top, when you finally hold that dream in your hands, you will realize it was never luck, it was never chance, it was never magic. It was you, your vision, your belief, your obsession, your consistency, your refusal to quit. And in that moment, the world will call it success, but deep down you will know it was destiny you created with your own hands.